You can't start off your meetings with A plus B equals C, and this is why you're going to work with me. Like, nobody buys that way. Nobody buys products that way. What's up, everybody? This is Colby Wood with the Medical Sales Certification Podcast, and welcome to this episode. And what I want to talk about in this episode is understanding that your customers are not computers, okay? And what I mean by that is your customers are not A plus B equals C people. That's not how human beings work, okay? There's a lot of other variables that go into the mix when people make decisions, especially in what we do in medical sales. And what I want to convey in this episode is understand, like, once you grasp the understanding that A plus B does not equal C in what we do, then what I think it's going to help you with is understanding what those variables are that you need to be touching on first and foremost, so that hopefully you can get that business, even if you have the better product or the better service or the better value. If you're not getting the business, there's some other variables in there that are keeping you from getting that business. And so what I want to share with you is an example that I had the last couple of years. And so there's a pretty large orthopedic group that's here in the Chicago suburbs, and I've got a good relationship with the president of the orthopedic group, and they actually own a surgery center as well. And so we did some business at this surgery center, and but not a whole lot. We were not the market share leader there, but essentially, I've been building that relationship with that surgeon for a number of years now. And when we launched a new product, it was a bipolar wand. So if you know anything about shoulder arthroscopy, arthroscopy in general, bipolar wands are what you use intraoperatively to help deploy hemostasis and control bleeders and things like that. And essentially, we launched a bipolar wand product. And so I put it in his hands, and I asked for the business, or at least an opportunity to get the business. So we did an evaluation, we did a trial of that product, and we put in place a program. It was a 12-month contract, at this price point, and we were hoping to hit certain markers, as far as volume goes. And so we go through through those last 12 months, and there were complaints. There were complaints about the product. There were complaints from surgeons. He himself, a number of times, had complained to me personally about the product. There were some other surgeons in the practice who had complained about the product as well to him, and they wanted to go back to their old product. But he had given me a commitment, a 12-month commitment, and he was holding up his end of the deal there. And so the punchline of this story is that we ended up parting ways with that orthopedic implant company that we worked with. And when we did that, almost immediately, they switched off of that product I converted them to and back onto the previous product that they were using. And I remember actually walking into the operating room, and I was talking with the doctor because he was in there, and he's like, "So you guys are done? You're not selling this product anymore. This is somebody else, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "So I can switch to the other company?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "When can I do that?" I'm like, "Now. It doesn't matter anymore, right? Like, we don't carry that product line anymore." And so he's like, "All right, good. I'm going to do that right away." He's like, "And you realize that I was giving you this business because I wanted to help you out, and I liked you. I wanted to support you." I'm like, "Yeah, and I appreciate that." Right? Like, and that was the reality. The reality is that he gave us that business because he wanted me to be successful. He wanted me to give me opportunities. And it was more or less a clinically equivalent product, right? Like, it didn't jeopardize patient outcomes, but there were products in the market that were better. It was a better product, and the other companies had even come back to him and requested a better price or given him a better price. So not only was he paying a higher price for my product than what he would get from the other guys, in his mind and in the mind of the surgeons that were operating there, it was not quite to the level of the other product. And the reason that we kept that business is because I had developed a relationship with that surgeon over many years to where he wanted me to be successful. He honored his word. He was going to give me that business. He was going to keep the 12-month contract in place and give me yeah, give me that business. And so I share that with you because it's so easy for us, especially new reps or you're new to a territory, to think, A plus B equals C. If I make the right value proposition, I make the right pitch, and my product performs well, then I'm going to get the business. And then I've got, reps on our team or reps that I talk to that they're confused as to why they don't get the business when they are bringing what they see as the best product at the best price to the table. And so understand that it's not A plus B equals C. Human beings are emotional beings. We make emotional decisions and then back it up rationally. Like, that is pretty well understood. There's been good data, good research on that. We essentially, as human beings, make decisions emotionally, and then we justify those decisions using logic retroactively. And so what I guess the fundamental point that I want to get across is your customers are making emotional decisions. Now, it doesn't mean that they don't use any logic, and it doesn't mean that they can't use logic. So this is not a 100-0. This is not black and white. This is gray. But understand that the majority of the time, most of the decisions made are emotional decisions at a very fundamental level. And what matters for you is, how do I emotionally connect with this person that I'm interacting with? It's so easy to walk into a meeting, to walk into a presentation, and you just start pitching your product because you're like, I've got the best product, I can give you the best price, we can give you the best service. This is a no-brainer. There's no way you're not going to say yes to this. And in reality, you never took the time to connect with the decision makers on an emotional level. There's no reason why, in their mind, they're saying, I really want to work with this person. Because you got to understand, the majority of the products in medical sales, in medical devices, at least in orthopedics, that's what I know, the majority of the products in the marketplace are somewhat comparable to other products. You get a handful of products here and there that are unique, that truly are proprietary products. But most surgeons, like 95% of the procedures that they're doing, they could use anybody for those procedures. They could use more or less any of the products in the market. Like, most companies have very similar products. So then why are they going to use you? And it comes down to emotional reasons. You've got to connect with customers. Talk to them about what they want to talk about. Make it so that when they leave the meeting, they're like, man, I really want to work with that person. They connected with me. You can't start off your meetings with A plus B equals C, and this is why you're going to work with me. Like, nobody buys that way. Nobody buys products that way, right? The other example I was thinking about that I wanted to share with you is my father-in-law. He was going to get a new car. He was due to get a new car. And he had, he had a Jeep Grand Cherokee before that. And so he was going and shopping for new cars. And he was trying to figure out, do I want to go an SUV? He was like, maybe I want to do a truck. And so he went to a GMC dealership, and he actually test drove one of them. I think it was the Canyon. I don't remember exactly which one. Really liked the truck. Really liked it. And then they started doing the negotiating on the price, and the sales rep pissed him off. He had a really bad experience. And I'm hearing this secondhand, but it's my brother-in-law that was there with him that's telling me the story. And he's like cracking up while he tells me, because he said that my father-in-law literally just got so pissed that he left the dealership. He's like, I'm not going to work with you. I like the car. I really want that car. He was literally going to buy the car, but he didn't like the guy he was working with, and he left and literally drives down the road, sees a Nissan dealership, and pulls in. He's like, what do they have? Pulls into the Nissan dealership, and then ends up buying a Nissan Pathfinder. Now, the Nissan Pathfinder is a great car. That's fine. But understand the reality of the scenario. You had a customer that was ready and willing and wanted to buy your product, and the sales rep pissed him off, and he decided to go elsewhere. He decided to use somebody else. And understand, like, that doesn't mean, I'm not saying that you're going to go in there and piss off your customers and that's why they're not going to use you. But understand the reverse of that can be true in a lot of scenarios. And by the reverse of that, what I mean is he might go buy your car because he likes you, and that he's a unique buyer. He doesn't have strong opinions about what he drives, what it looks like. There's a handful of things that he really wants, but other than that, as long as it checks those boxes, he's going to be good. So maybe he's somewhat of a unique buyer in the car market. But you got to understand and play to the fact that you've got customers that are going to give you their business because they like you, because they want to work with you, because they connected with you, or you connected with them, I should say, on an emotional level. There's something about it that, they found some commonality between you, you took interest in them, you spent time with them outside of work, whatever it is. It's not just an A plus B equals C world. We make decisions, people make decisions emotionally, and we back it up rationally, or we at least try to back it up rationally. And so understand that, what I guess the point that I want to get across is that when you are approaching your customers to sell your products and services, do not start it off with A plus B equals C. That is not how people buy. That's not how people buy products. Start off by connecting with people emotionally. Then bring up the rational side of why they should work with you later. But you need to connect with people emotionally first before you start ever trying to pitch them your product. Okay? So I hope that's helpful for you guys. Thank you for tuning into this podcast, and I appreciate the support. So we'll see you on the next one. Bye.